Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you tonight. I'm doing a review of the WWE Network's own 24 show about Roman Reigns entitled Never Alone. This was a mini documentary about Roman Reigns and his rise to glory that is highlighted about him going to Wrestlemania 31. I know that there's lots of talks about a Roman Reigns DVD upcoming in the future. I saw it on the list that WWE, we screwed it up now, WrestlingDVDnews.com put up and talked about, that there wasn't a lot of things out there for them to cover for a Roman Reigns documentary because of the fact they just came out with the Shield documentary this year, which was highlighted their rise to glory and their match going into SummerSlam, where Roman Reigns was going to be wrestling against Randy Orton. Dean Ambrose was going to be going up against Seth Rollins in the Lumberjack match, and not a lot has happened from SummerSlam until WrestleMania. In this show today, we got to learn a lot about Roman Reigns and his rise from a child until main eventing WrestleMania 31. This starts basically by showing Roman Reigns' weekend doing lots of media and lots of press. When basically he's going around San Jose, Santa Clara, San Francisco, and he's hitting all of the radio stations, all of the TV shows, doing all those things to sell those last minute tickets to the people that live inside the city to make sure that San Francisco 49ers stadium, Levi Stadium, was going to be packed to the gills, and it was. I mean, I remember seeing WWE tweet out that Roman Reigns was doing just about everything and anything in the whole world. There was times when he was in San Francisco, there was times when he was Santa Clara. They showed clips of him going to LA to be on the Conan O'Brien show, as well as other news and talk shows that were going on down there. Anywhere that they would be able to put his face on television, Roman Reigns was there. He was one of the hardest working guys doing publicity for WWE that week, but then again, it was his first WrestleMania. It was, the story had been out there for well over a year that, basically Roman Reigns was going to be moving into John Cena's spot, becoming the face of the WWE. You got to take advantage of that and make this guy look like the biggest star in the world because he was going up against Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 31. Now, when this first starts, basically we run through all of WrestleMania 31's weekend, getting everybody hyped up. We see him doing the book signing when he went to go launch the... it's like the WWE Encyclopedia, but it has all the wrestlers in their cartoon form, and I saw a lot of people getting the book signed at Access, but it just wasn't the book for me. I'll stick to the Encyclopedia with the real pictures of the wrestlers, but him and AJ Lee did a signing. WWE did a really good job cropping out AJ Lee because she was right next to Roman Reigns at the signing. I know people that went to the signing, and there was definitely not even an elbow or a shoulder or a hair flip. You wouldn't even have known she was there if you didn't know for yourself. But from showing all of this, Roman Reigns says that, before we talk about WrestleMania, we have to talk about the Royal Rumble. So they take us to Philly with Roman Reigns getting ready for the Royal Rumble and talking about all the haters that he had that night. I know that WWE said that they knew the reaction was going to be close to what they thought it was going to be, but honestly, I think the reaction that WWE got from its fans, I think that Vince and everybody else backstage just had their hands on their heads, just like, I was not expecting this at all. I thought that they'd be able to shove anybody down anybody's throat as possible, but basically, Philly hated Roman Reigns winning the Rumble for the second year in a row. It seems that WWE has picked the wrong guy to give the golden spoon to and put in that spot. But Roman was defending all of those people. They paid their money. They should be able to boo. They should be able to cheer for whoever they want to, and Roman Reigns kept the kayfabe, saying that he went in there and he actually won the Rumble. They didn't really show any footage of the actual Royal Rumble match, so we didn't get to see Roman Reigns throwing out Rusev or Roman Reigns, helping eliminate Big Show and Kane. They just basically said that, that was what happened, and they show The Rock, congratulating him. They don't really, show... any of the stuff that really went down. They definitely didn't show that horrible backstage Royal Rumble promo that they had on the network, when everybody was just joking around. It didn't seem like anybody gave a care about what was going on. From there, we meet Roman Reigns' mom, who says that, she watched the Rumble that night, and she was already, texting Roman Reigns, congratulating him on the win and asking if he was all right. Of course, he got bloody that night, and, she was asking, are you all right? And then she said it took a minute, but then she realized that everybody there was booing him, and, she got mad. She got heated about what went down. She takes us on the journey of going back and looking at old pictures of Roman Reigns, telling the story about, where they grew up and, how they came together as a family, and, talking about the Usos growing up with them and Rikishi. We get to see, where Roman Reigns played baseball and played football. A story about, Rikishi standing up at one of Roman Reigns' baseball games and telling him, I'll give you $100 if you smack the ball way out there. And they said that Roman Reigns hit the ball out of the park, and it hit a foul pole, or not foul pole, but actually a light pole, I apologize. And from there, it ricocheted onto another field, 40 yards into it, and they had to, basically hold their hands up and call the other game because of the interference with the ball. And they made that seem like it was a really big story. Roman Reigns talks about, football being a big part of his life, and telling a whole lot of stories from a whole lot of coaches from all along his career. A lot of people thought that he was going to be an NFL star. They saw him going through high school, playing linebacker, being one of the all-state positions, and then from there signing with Georgia Tech, and being a big member of Georgia Tech, and everybody there thinking that he was going to be drafted, and the draft came and went, and he didn't get drafted. The story that they didn't tell was, he was invited to some camps. He went and tried out for the Minnesota Vikings, and it just wasn't meant to be. And, then he, kicked them things around before ended up going and joining the family business, which is professional wrestling. And from there, they talk about Rikishi being inducted into the Wrestlemania 31 Hall of Fame, and him, giving his speech, talking about the bloodline of wrestlers, High Chief Peter Maivia, The Rock, the Usos, Rosie, there's so many of these, Samoan, wrestlers have gone on to become big stars inside of WWE, and Roman Reigns, decided to follow in his footsteps. This was only about a half hour, so they didn't get into what they went into in the Shield documentary, which was all of his, training, that went along to it. Basically just made it seem like he just debuted, and that was it. But no FCW, no NXT, none of the stuff that was covered about them being, or about him being down there. From there, they go right back into WrestleMania 31 weekend. They talk about him, how big of a chance this is, and he's basically treating this as if he was, Dan Marino, and this will only make a reference make sense if you are a fan of professional football, fan of the Miami Dolphins, or you're a fan of Dan Marino itself. But Dan Marino was a great collegiate football player. He wasn't drafted high in his draft class, but people did know that he was going to be a big star. He came in and took the Miami Dolphins to the Super Bowl in his first year with the Dolphins, his rookie season, and basically people thought that he was going to be breaking records in the NFL. He was going to be winning Super Bowl trophies. He was going to be winning and taking his Dolphins to Super Bowl year after year after year. Miami Dolphins had Dan Marino as their quarterback for a long time, and they never made the Super Bowl ever again. It was just sort of a one and done for him. Dan Marino retired. He had a whole lot of records to go along with it, but Dan Marino never got a chance to win another Super Bowl ring. They lost that game to the San Francisco 49ers, and Roman was basically saying that he was going to make the best of it because he didn't know if this moment was ever going to come again for him. Roman Reigns has 2 big wins at WrestleMania already as a part of the Shield. The first one, they wrestled against Dolph Ziggler and Biggie Langston. In the second one, no, wait a minute, that was Team Hell No. Screw that. I'm sorry. They wrestled WrestleMania 29, they wrestled against Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus. WrestleMania 30, they wrestled against Kane and New Age Outlaws. I apologize, I screwed that up pretty bad. But they talk about he needs to be building and becoming a bigger star. Roman Reigns talks about the preparation it takes for him to get ready for his matches. He basically gets dressed in the back, and then he gets entouraged out to the spot where he makes his entrance. He said that it was special when it was the Shield because it was the three of them, but now that it's just him, he walks out there and there's just people everywhere, and they show all the people just watching him get ready to make his entrance, which was going on during the Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker match. And there's literally hundreds and hundreds of people that are just standing there next to Roman Reigns to be in his presence, all shouting something at him, all taking pictures with their camera phones about him getting ready. And Undertaker and Bray are out there in the ring. The match wasn't that good, but they all missed it. And that was pretty funny. They talk about once the match actually started for Brock Lesnar going up against Roman Reigns, just how bad the beating was for Roman and how he was enjoying it. And I have not watched WrestleMania 31 back on the WWE Network yet. I know that the DVD comes out on Tuesday, and people are going to be hyped about that tomorrow. But I don't know, after last year, I don't think I'll ever buy a wrestling pay-per-view again. I haven't heard anything about what the bonus features are going to be on the DVD or the Blu-ray, but nothing has jumped out at me. Somebody saying that you have to have this. WWE Network already has WrestleMania 31, and I'm just going to stick with that because that's really all I need. And almost anywhere I need to go, I'm going to have a Wi-Fi connection or an LTE connection, and I'll be able to watch WrestleMania 31 on the network if I ever need to watch anything off of there. Worst comes to worst, a Roman Reigns DVD does come out. I'm sure that the main event will be put onto one of those, and then you got Sting and Triple H will probably put on that Sting DVD that will be coming out later this year. And we'll see what happens from there. But, the beating that happened with Roman and Brock, every time that, Brock suplexed, Roman Reigns, or they put a beating on him, they were doing, I'm not sure if it was a drum shot or something, but they just put an effect in there to make you actually sit here and watch it and feel it at home. And, Roman Reigns got that, moment of intensity where he hit a shield on Brock, and then he hit another shield, and people thought that was actually going to be the way that he beat Brock Lesnar, and he got a 2 count. Brock kicked out. And then you see Roman just, sitting there on the mat and not knowing what to do next. And then Seth Rollins comes running down, cashing in, and he becomes the champion. And Rollins is, walking out with the belts. Roman's laying there in the ring, and he can't believe that his moment was crushed. We see Roman finally make it to the back, and once he gets back there, he's congratulated by Vince McMahon, Michael Cole, JBL, various other wrestlers are all coming up to him, thanking him for the great match that he had, for carrying WrestleMania 31, being the big star that go into there, as well as having Brock Lesnar, and then Seth Rollins becoming involved in it as well. Finally, he makes his way to the back, and he's able to hug his kid, and his wife comes over, and they're all sharing a moment together, and Roman is starting to cry, and it's sinking in on him on how big of a moment this is. And his mom stands back, and we hear from his dad talking about what this means to the Roman Reigns brand, what it means to the family, and all those stories that came out that said that all the people that were there to support Roman Reigns were all mad that Vince changed his mind before WrestleMania 31. Here he is live in person, right there next to Roman, not causing a fit at all, basically giving his son a hug, and then in a sidebar promo, basically saying that, from here on out for Roman Reigns, it's only going to get bigger and it's only going to grow, and he's going to learn from this experience and find a way to make the next one his own. But this was a great thing to watch. These 24s are really, really great when they do them. They did the one on WrestleMania 30. They did another one on Booker T. Now this one on Roman Reigns. I know that they've sort of left that WWE Rivalries show out there with really nothing going on. I've heard rumors last year that they're going to do more of the WrestleMania rewinds. Almost any show that WWE touches is gold. That Jerry Springer show that they debuted last week didn't really seem like it was going to be all that good. We have to see what's going to be happening with that Jackass show that's going to be coming out sooner than later. And that Camp WWE looks like it might be a hit or a miss. Either way, it's not going to be in the middle. I don't see anybody to be like, it's all right. You're either going to love that show or you're going to hate it. But I want to see more of these specials, and more than likely see this out on DVD sooner than later with some Roman Reigns matches on there. But I'll check you guys down the road. WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, WWE 24, Episode 3, Roman Reigns, Never Alone. Great show.